Hello everyone, a very good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining today's session. My name is Vivin Satyan and I am the pre-sales consultant for the Active Directory team here at ManageEngine. Now, during this session over the next 45 minutes, we will be talking about the SIEM solution of ManageEngine. And I'll be discussing some of the crucial features that would be helpful for you if you have already deployed the SIEM solution from ManageEngine. And we'll also be talking about the best practices or the things that you need to know when deploying an SIEM solution. All right, so diving into today's topic, the agenda for today's discussion would be some of you might be new to ManageEngine, the company itself. Some of you might be new to the Active Directory line of products. So I'm just going to start with a quick introduction, a very quick introduction about the brand itself, which is ManageEngine, and also the Active Directory product portfolio. And we dive right into today's topic, which is SIEM. I thought it would be nice to start with the need for an SIEM solution. So only when we understand the need for a SIEM solution, the rest of the topic would make any sense. Now, for me, according to me, I truly believe that SIEM is synonymous to log management. So what I'm going to do is I will be discussing about the various stages of log management, because these stages of log management that I'm going to discuss with you are going to be the underlying principle of any SIEM solution in the market. And the actual product itself, which is Log360. That's the name of the SIEM solution of ManageEngine. And if you have any questions during the session, please make use of the chat option that you have on your screen. I will do my best to answer your queries instantly. If not, I'll definitely get back to you via emails. And if you need to know any info, be it technical or be it related to commercials or be it related to general SIEM, please do shoot out the questions. I'd be more than happy to answer. All right. Now, this is for the new evaluators or the new people who are the first timers in ManageEngine. So if you'd like to know more about the brand, this is the time. So ManageEngine is going to be one of many divisions of a company named Zoho Corporation. Whereas this division, especially ManageEngine, focuses in developing real-time IT products, real-time products for IT management. And we have close to 90 products, and our product portfolio has gained us more than 2 million customers located in more than 100 different countries around the world. And we are very happy to let you know that our product portfolio has been certified by top certifying authorities like Pink, Gartner, and Reader's Choice, and so on and so forth. So you are in the hands of a company that knows exactly what it's doing. And we spend a lot on research and development too. So we come up with tools after analyzing the exact requirement from administrators like you. So a quick introduction about the Active Directory team of ManageEngine. ManageEngine has various teams focusing on different applications, and one such team is going to be Active Directory. And the SIEM solution that we are going to discuss today is also a brainchild from the Active Directory team. Now, this Active Directory team has a lot of other products to offer, whereas you as administrators can benefit from those applications too. The first application in our product portfolio is going to be AD Manager Plus, and that application is going to help you manage your Active Directory from a centralized web console without the usage of scripts. So we are talking about creating user accounts, managing group memberships, cleaning up unnecessary permissions, all that using one simple console. And the second application is AD Audit Plus. Now this piece, the auditing piece, is a change auditing software that is going to give you answers for 4 vital W's, which is going to be who, what, when, and where. I'll be discussing about this application in a short while, so now I am moving on to the next application, which is AD Self-Service Plus. So let's say you are an administrator of a 3,000 employee organization. According to statistics, close to 60% of the calls that an administrator receives on a weekly basis, or let's say a help desk technician receives on a weekly basis, is for two things: password reset and account unlock. So the self-service application is going to give your end users the privilege to reset their own password as well as unlock their own accounts in a very secured manner from a web console. That's self-service. And Exchange Reporter Plus, the fourth piece. So if you have Exchange Server 2003, 2007, 10, 13, or even the latest version of Exchange 2016, you would like to gain more insight on your Exchange servers. And also you'd like to make sure when something goes wrong in Exchange, you are notified instantly when a service goes down, or when something is not, when something that is undesirable takes place in your Exchange organization, you would like to be notified. So Exchange Reporter Plus is one such application that's going to give you insight into your Exchange server organization. Recovery Manager Plus, as the name indicates, is an Active Directory object recovery tool. So the best part about this tool is this tool not only takes a backup of your users, groups, computers, GPOs, DNS, and a lot other objects in Active Directory, but it also allows you to restore in a very granular manner. So granularity is all that we are focusing here when it comes to taking a backup and also restoring things in Active Directory. So be it modification, be it deletion, or any accidental change that has been made to your objects, a group deleted or 200 users deleted, this application will be able to restore the exact change and roll back to the exact change that you want. And this is a lot different from the native backup and recovery solutions. The last one is for Office 365. If you are an Office 365 admin, this tool is going to give you more information pertaining to your Office 365 environment. So the things that you wouldn't be finding in the Office 365 Admin Center, and I believe that Office 365 has revamped its Admin Center last month. Even some of the features that you wouldn't find in the Office 365 Admin Center would be present in this tool. So in order to know more about these tools, all you need to do is just simply go to ManageEngine.com and visit the Active Directory sections there. So that was just a quick introduction for the people who are new to the brand. And I'm going to dive right into today's topic, which is SIEM. And I will be starting with the topic, why do you need an SIEM solution for an IT organization? Now, if you had noticed in the last 5 years, the rise in internal and external attacks on an organization has grown multifold. And if you had observed, a lot more, you would see that the internal attacks are in the rise. So, and moreover, the tools that the attackers use in order to get into your organization and retrieve business critical data are no longer simple tools. The tools are getting complex day by day. So we need to make sure that the solution you deploy should be capable of mitigating all such complex attacks. And that's from a security standpoint. And we have another phase to SIEM, which is segregating logs from multiple log sources. Any IT organization would have tons and tons of logs generated from various log sources like your domain controllers, your file servers, your firewall, your routers, your switches, and a lot more devices in your network. So the solution that you are planning to deploy or that you have in place should be capable of handling logs from multiple log sources. And the last thing, but not the least, is you need a SIEM solution in place to meet compliance requirements, because if you have an IT auditing happening in your organization, an auditor would be expecting out-of-the-box reports for something that happened 8 months ago. So the tool should be capable of giving you all this, should be capable of meeting all these requirements, because this is primarily going to be the need for an SIEM solution in any IT organization. Now this is just a quick, a stat that I took from the Data Breach Information Report by Verizon for the year 2016. For this specific year. Now please have a look at the screen and just observe this number here. We have 77%. Now among all the threats that are targeted on an organization, 77% are by internal threats. Are focused on internal threats, which means your own crew can cause more damage to the organization. And then comes the second factor, which is external threats. That's eating up 11%. So both internal and external combined are going to be, taking up, let's say, 90%, almost 90% of the total threats in the IT market today. So the SIEM solution that you deploy should be capable of primarily mitigating internal threats as well as external threats, because if you are good at doing these two things, then we have sorted out almost 90% of the problem. So the SIEM solution should be in place to deal with internal and external threats. That's the point that I'd like to drive today from this slide. Now, when I say SIEM, that is always synonymous to log management, because it is about the way by which you process logs is going to give you meaningful information. If the process of log management is not efficient, you are not going to get the desired output. So log management and the stages of log management is something that is very crucial and very important in order for a strong SIEM solution. And according to me, there are 4 stages in log management. And these are the 4 stages here. We call it the CPAA stage. So I'm going to tell you what is CPAA all about. So it's all about collection, processing, analysis, and archival. So the SIEM solution that you deploy should be capable of collecting logs from various log sources. So log collection should be, it should not only be collecting logs from various log sources, but also the process should be fast. Only if this process is fast, this can forward the information to the next stage, what we call as the heart of log management, which is log processing. Now it is in the log processing state that data gets transformed into meaningful information. And only when this transformation is a success, you will be able to analyze the information and then find out ways to protect data of your organization, to detect whether there are any anomalies in your network, to mitigate both internal and external threats, to check whether there are any vulnerabilities present in the logs that the application has retrieved, and also to meet compliance requirements. So it is the processing and analysis phase is going to be the primary or the core of the log management cycle. Last but not the least is the log archival stage. Now archiving is not just about storing logs for later retrieval. No, it's just not that. Now the logs that the system has collected may contain business critical data or even end user critical information. Now that should not be let away in the hands of intruders or attackers. So the logs that you archive should have two things in mind. I mean, before you set an archival procedure, you should have two things in mind. One is going to be storage, because the logs shouldn't be taking up a lot of space. So the solution that you deploy should be capable of compressing the logs and then storing them. And the second aspect of log archival is going to be security. So storage and security are the two aspects that we should have in mind. So the logs should be compressed, and at the same time the logs should be encrypted and then stored in a location so that they become tamper proof. So log collection should be fast. Log processing and analysis is going to be the heart of log management. Log archival shouldn't consume a lot of space, and at the same time should be secure, which means the logs should be encrypted and then stored for forensic analysis. So all these four stages of log management are taken into consideration in building the SIEM solution of ManageEngine, which is going to be Log360. Now this Log360 can cater to the needs of two types of organizations. Organizations that look for security solutions and organizations that look for compliance solution, because it has out-of-the-box reports for security as well as for compliance. So that's Log360, and we are going to have a look at Log360 in detail for the next 30 minutes. Now this Log360 has two modules. Alright, so why two modules? Because these two modules focus in processing logs from different sources. For instance, the first module, Event Log Analyzer, focuses in processing logs from your applications, logs from your switches, routers, firewall, and all that stuff, and then databases like SQL and Oracle, and your VMwares, Hyper-Vs, vCenter, and a lot more. Whereas the second module, AD Audit Plus, focuses in reading information from logs from your domain controllers, your member servers, your file servers, your Windows file servers, EMC, NetApp, and also Windows file cluster. So it's just the sources of logs sets these two things apart, and that's why we have two modules to process logs from different sources. So I'm going to start with the first module here, which is Event Log Analyzer. I've already told you what are the types of logs that Event Log Analyzer is going to read information from. So logs from the network devices, logs from your databases, application servers, and a lot more. Now if you closely observe this diagram here, this diagram tells you that Event Log Analyzer follows the stages of log management that we discussed just a couple of minutes before. So this application or this module is going to collect information from all these log sources that you see in the diagram, and then it's going to analyze the data, and during the analysis phase, when a threat is found or when a vulnerability is found, the application is going to give you real-time notifications. And not only that, you can also generate reports, and after you have fixed the problem, you can very well archive the logs for later retrieval. So this clearly follows the four stages of log management that we discussed in the earlier slide. All right. Now, how does this module or this application collect logs? What are the methods by which the application collects logs? Because we know that log collection is the first stage. So how would be the next question? How is log collection taking place? So we have a centralized log collection mechanism. We retrieve logs and store them in a centralized location. But how? What are the methods by which this application collects logs? There are two methods. Agent-based log collection for a secure DMZ log collection. So if you have a secure DMZ and you'd like to retrieve information from that, Yes, we can deploy an agent-based log collection method. And if you're not comfortable in deploying agents, you can go in for an agent-less log collection method if that's something that you're looking for. So we have two methods, agent-based and agent-less, and you can pick and choose the one that suits your requirement. Now I've told you that this application collects logs, but what are the log sources? How many log sources can this application read logs from? There you go. The application has something called as Universal Log Collection, which supports more than 600 log sources. And if you just have a look at the picture here, they are categorized. The log sources are categorized. We have log sources under Windows infrastructure, under database, we have Oracle and SQL. Under web stacks, we have IIS and Apache. And for network devices, we have Cisco, Juniper, HP, and RFC. And for Linux and Unix. And for hypervisors, you have a couple of other vendors there. And apart from this, we do collect logs from other log sources as well. So to put it in numbers, approximately 600 log sources. Now, what if you have an application in your organization? Let's say it's going to be an in-house application, and you would like to read information or read the logs from the in-house application, and you don't find the in-house application in this list. So your question would be, will Event Log Analyzer read information from my HR database? The answer is yes. As I told you, this application can read information from any log sources, and the only condition that the log source need to meet is the logs should be in human readable format. Now, if the logs are going to be in human readable format, you can simply import the logs within Event Log Analyzer. So this is how the logs would look like after you import them for the first time. Now, please note, I am referring to the custom application logs. I'm not referring to the built-in logs, because we have close to 700 built-in log sources supported. This is the custom logs section. Now, if you import a custom log for the first time, this is something that it would look like. And if you are trying to create a report from this log, all you need to do is just look for the headers that you would like to have in the report. Say, for instance, you have headers like account domain, account name in this log, network address, and you have source port, authentication information, and few other headers. Now, if you want all these headers in the report, all you need to do is just click on a specific tag so that they turn green in color. Now, we call this process as labeling the logs. Now, after you import the logs for the first time, you label them, and then you save those labels as a specific report. So now we have the headers for the report ready. Now, the next time you import the same log, you would have a ready-made report. So this is how the process works. So you import the log for the first time, create the headers that you want, re-import the log, you get the information that you're looking for. The application is smart enough to parse information from your custom application logs if it's in human readable format. So we support all the major vendors when it comes to log sources, and apart from that, if you have any built-in application, or you can just very well import the logs and then parse the logs very easily. Now, after collection comes the most important process, which is processing. As I told you, it is when you process raw logs you get meaningful information. And we have spent a lot of effort in making sure that the log processing rate of this application is going to be very effective. And as you can see the numbers right here, the log processing rate that we have tested is going to be 20,000 logs per second, and we also have an event peak handling capacity of 25,000 logs per second. Now that's going to be a lot of logs that the application can process. Now after processing the logs should be ready for analysis. And during the analysis phase is when the logs get segregated. So this is how the segregation would look like. The logs would be segregated under various categories. So account management, you have logs under security auditing, user activity monitoring, threats, and also vulnerabilities. So the logs will be segregated so that you gain more insight from the logs. And after you gain insight from the log, let's say when the logs are being segregated, if there is a vulnerability present in the logs, the first thing that a SIEM solution, that an SIEM solution should do is it should be triggering alerts to the administrators, and the alerts should be real time. Let's say you import a log to Event Log Analyzer, if it's going to be a firewall log, and that firewall log has a blacklisted IP present within it. Now the application would process the logs, and while processing, the presence of the blacklisted IP will be detected by Event Log Analyzer, and you will be getting real-time alerts stating that a blacklisted IP with the IP number is present in the log that you imported along with the timestamp, so that you as an administrator can act immediately and then fix the problem then and there. So I'll be diving into the application in a short while, and then I'll be showing you the actual application itself. But before getting into the application, I just wanted to make sure that I show you the working of this application. And when I talk about real-time alerts or alerting mechanism of the application itself, we have more than 600 alerts that you can configure based on any condition that you have in mind. So I'm just going to give you a quick example here. So we have alerts based on categories, and the first category is going to be Windows. If you are going to search for Windows-based alerts, we have these many alerts. Alerts for threats, for Hyper-V server events, for registry changes, which is more important because someone modifies something in the registry, you need to know instantly. So we have alerts for that. And when it comes to Unix, we have a different set of alerts. When it comes to applications, we have separate alerts for applications as well. So as you can see here, just for Oracle auditing, we have close to 24 alerts right here. So if you just expand the category called Oracle Auditing, you can just go ahead and configure close to 24 alerts pertaining to Oracle. And the same for SQL as well. And when I talk about network devices, I have separate reports for the network devices as well. I mean, alert profiles for network devices as well. All right. Now that we've talked about alerts and alert profiles and all that stuff, now comes the real challenge here. Now, any SIEM solution that you deploy has something called correlation. Correlation is nothing but the logic by which the SIEM solution parses information from raw logs. Now, this SIEM solution by default gives you close to 700 reports, agreed. But this should also allow room for customization. In the sense, you as an administrator should be free to create your own correlation rules, your own logic by which you would like to parse the logs. And that's exactly what Event Log Analyzer does. Now I'm going to quickly switch to the application so that I show how the application looks like. All right, so let me quickly sign out, and then I will log in again. Okay, so this is going to be the login screen of the SIEM solution that I'm talking about, which is Log360. And if I log in, I have two components right here, which is AD Audit Plus and Event Log Analyzer. So I'll talk about Event Log Analyzer for now and then move to AD Audit Plus. We were discussing about correlation in Event Log Analyzer. But before that, I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough. Let me quickly change the date. Okay. So I'd like to get information starting from the 1st January 2016 till today. So it's October, the 19th of October. There you go. And I hit apply. So I just selected the date range right here. This is called the date picker. So I just chose the date, the time period that I want the logs to be listed here on the dashboard. Now, if you could just notice, I have it clearly categorized right here. So the log trend, now September, the log count is mentioned right here. And as you can see here, the logs, the trend of the log growth right here, mentioned right here. So you can just have a look at the dashboard of Event Log Analyzer and get to know some important stuff like important events, all events, events by category, and also security related events. And if you'd like to drill down a specific number for any category, all you need to do is just go ahead and click. That's it. Now I was talking about 700 reports. In order to generate reports out of the box, you just go to the reports tab and all the categories will be listed at the top. Now you have reports for Windows. If you just go to Windows, you have all reports related to Windows right here. So if you just expand a specific category under Windows Severity Reports, there you go. You have reports within. And if you're talking about threats or vulnerability, you have separate reports for that. And if you're talking about application related reports, you have application related reports. So all you need to do is just go to the category that you're looking for and then generate the reports. Okay. So I just generated a report which reads created table in a SQL Server. So this gives me the exact details about table creation, as in who created the table, what was the host name, what was the instant, the session ID, and the name of the DB that was created, and a lot more information pertaining to the table creation. This is just for SQL auditing. We have a lot of reports other than that. Now, I was talking about building your own logic, which is correlation. That's right here. So I go to correlation. We have some predefined correlation rules. If you expand, you have separate categories for that. Now, if you would like to build your own logic, let's say you'd like to parse the logs and then get information pertaining to any brute force attack. So you are going to build your own logic. You just go to add new rule, brute force attack, and we very well know the pattern of a brute force attack. It is number of successive logon failures within n minutes or n seconds. So I'm just going to create a rule based on that. Okay, I search using the keyword logon, and then I have logon failure by source host. Now I feel that out of all 20 file servers that I have, I'd like to monitor logon failures, such brute force attack patterns on 5 file servers. So what I do is I just go to logon failure by source host, and I want 5 successive logon failures that happen within 3 minutes to be notified, or let's say 2 minutes on a specific host to be notified. I can even add more conditions if that's what I'm looking for. So I can add conditions right here. So logon failure followed by logon success. If that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for, yes. And I can even rearrange the patterns based on my requirement. And then I hit next. This is where I choose the source host. So I use the pick host option, and then after I've done with all these, I just hit apply. So the minute I hit apply, the rule that I just created will be listed here, and I can henceforth start using the rule or the logic that we just built. All right. Now, we are still in the first module of SIEM, I mean the Log360 solution that we are talking about. I'm just going to discuss something related to vulnerability, and I have a very interesting stat that I'd like to share with you. So this is something that I wanted to share with you because this is again that I took from the Data Breach Information Report by Verizon for the year 2016. Now please have a look at the screen. You have various vendors here along the x-axis, and then you have days to first exploitation in the y-axis. Now, if you have a look at Mozilla, if there is a vulnerability in Mozilla, the time taken by an attacker to know that there is a vulnerability in Mozilla is going to be quite high when compared to that of Microsoft. So the number of days to first exploitation is somewhere close to 200. All right, so that's the information that I get from the data breach report for the year 2016. Now, but whereas if there is going to be a vulnerability in Microsoft, an attacker exploits the vulnerability, the presence of that vulnerability, in less than a week. So which means all Microsoft related items or peripherals are being targeted. So which means there are more chances for insider attacks or for intrusion, I'm sorry. So we need to make sure that we focus more on vulnerability as well. Talking about vulnerability, we have a specific section. If you just go to the reporting part of Event Log Analyzer, we have separate sections for vulnerabilities. If you just go to, we have separate section for threats and vulnerabilities here, but if you go to vulnerabilities, so this application has built-in reports for vulnerabilities, and at the same time this tightly integrates with vulnerability scanners, the top vulnerability scanners in the networks, in the market, like Nessus, Qualys, Nmap, and OpenVAS, and then gives you meaningful information regarding any vulnerability present in your network. Say for instance, I just run a top vulnerable ports report, and I get to know that these many ports are vulnerable for some reason or the other, and I also have the count and the percentage right here. So if I'd like to know more or drill down on the report, I just go ahead and click on the specific report and then get to know more about the vulnerability. This is also the same for vulnerability based on operating system, based on hosts, or based on service or protocol. I can even go for another category here, Nessus vulnerability reports, and then generate a different set of vulnerability reports right here. Now this section is dedicated to gain more insight to know whether there are any vulnerabilities present in the network. And talking about threats, this application has a built-in feature which reads, which continuously updates itself by communicating with a threat database. And that threat database will be having all the latest threats in the market. Now, the application, which is Event Log Analyzer, continuously communicates with the threat database and updates its own threat database so that you get meaningful information pertaining to the presence of any blacklisted IPs or ports in one of your logs. Maybe a router log or a firewall log can have a blacklisted IP. If the presence of a blacklisted IP is present in one of your logs, you get notified instantly. And how is this done? The application Event Log Analyzer continuously communicates with a threat scanner or the threat database that is available in the market. Now that's pretty much about the first module. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but you have a lot more in this application. The second module that I'd like to discuss with you for today is going to be AD Audit Plus. Now, Event Log Analyzer focuses in processing a different set of logs, whereas AD Audit Plus focuses in processing logs from your domain controllers, your servers, your file servers, be it Windows file servers or EMC or NetApp, or even if you have a Windows file cluster, the application processes the logs. Again, this is going to follow all 4 stages of log management that we just discussed. So both the logs have the same underlying working principle, which is the stages of log management. Now, I have something to share with you when it comes to logs of your domain controllers. Now, I get asked quite often because I have this opportunity of interacting with administrators from all across the globe because I implement security solutions for various organizations. And during my interaction with the administrators, I get this question, which is, if I have 10 domain controllers in my network and out of 10, 8 of them are going to be the primary ones, the writable ones. Is it enough for me to just monitor 5 of them, or should I be going ahead and then monitoring all of them? Now, from a security standpoint, my suggestion would be to monitor all the crucial domain controllers in your organization. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you need to monitor all your domain controllers. Because the event viewer that you see in a specific domain controller does not replicate to another domain controller. So if I create a user account John Smith by logging into one of your one of the domain controllers, the object John Smith gets replicated to all the 10 domain controllers in my organization, whereas the event pertaining to the account creation of John Smith will only be recorded in that specific domain controller. And if I need to audit who created the account John Smith, I need to query the security log of that specific domain controller. And with the number of events happening in your organization, the logs will be overwritten if that is the setting that you have configured for the logs, in the audit policy. So we need to make sure that you read information from multiple domain controllers or crucial domain controllers. The application AD Audit Plus does exactly that. Let me quickly dive into the application. All right, so this is going to be the login page or the home page of AD Audit Plus. Similar to Event Log Analyzer, the dashboard of AD Audit Plus also gives you meaningful information. So if you have a look at the report right here, account logged out users for the last 7 days, and number of users, and then the days. So you see that on a specific date, which is on the 16th of October, there are too many lockouts. And if you'd like to inspect a lockout, you can just drill down this report if that's your requirement. Now let me go straight to the reports tab right here. All right. Okay. Good. Now if I go to the reports tab, I have reports for file auditing, for server auditing right here, but this reporting tab is dedicated for monitoring the activity on your domain controllers as well as your workstations. Now just have a look at the crucial reports right here. User logon reports. If you need to find out when did a user log into a PC, what was the logon and logon duration, when did he log off, and was it a direct login or was it a remote login, you can very well have a look at the reports and then get to know more information. And if there is any failure due to bad username or bad password, and if you'd like to inspect more on that, yes, we have reports for that as well. Another interesting report would be permission changes category. Now I know that the administrators would love this. Permission changes report. Now any administrator, any IT administrator around the world would or should be knowing whenever a domain admin group changes group membership. So we have the group membership changes report dedicated for that as well. Even though this can track any type of group membership, you can customize this report and then track any changes to the domain admins group. Because if I add 2 users to the domain admins group or even remove 2 users from the domain admins group, that is something that should be brought to your notice. And you should be getting clear answers about who did that, when was that done, and from where was the change initiated and at what time, and so on and so forth. The same holds good for GPOs. If I modify something to a domain level GPO, and if that change is something that is not desirable, that can even bring down the business in a matter of minutes. So any change done to my GPO, especially if that is going to be linked to a domain, should be brought to an administrator's notice, and that too in real time. And that's why we have 2 categories for GPOs here. GPO management, recently created, deleted, and modified, or GPO history. And we have another report for GPOs that's going to give you even more information. Let's say group policy setting changes. And do not forget, all the reports that you see here can be mapped to real-time alerts. All right? For instance, if I need to know instantly when someone modifies a setting in the GPO, I can very well use the group policy setting changes report. So if I just go to the group policy setting changes report, and then I'd like to know whether there are any changes or whether there has been any changes made to a specific GPO in the last 6 months. So I choose 6 months. So someone has modified the default domain policy. I have the timestamp, the domain controller, who made the change, and to take things one step further, I see that 2 settings were added and 3 settings were removed. Let's just have a look. I just go to show details. It looks like the account lockout duration setting and the reset lockout counter after setting within the GPO has been modified. But what is even more interesting is I have the old value, which is the value before modification, and I have the new value right here, value after modification. So this is going to be very helpful from an administrator's perspective. This is going to give you the old and the new value before and after modification. And this is for modified. So a computer version was modified, the old value was 7 and the new value is 15. And a computer version pertaining to sysvol, the old value was 7 and it was modified to 15. You have a lot more reports in this category. So removable storage audit. Nowadays, I mean, people always have this habit of plugging in their USB sticks to one of the PCs and then reading information. Now, if you'd like to track any such activity on crucial machines in your network, you'd like to find out who plugged in a USB stick in one of your confidential machines and then who tried to read information, be it a success or a failure, you have reports for that. Removable storage audit. And a lifesaver. I'm just going to give you something which is very, very important, because in all the implementations that I am involved in, this one has been of great help for all the administrators without a doubt, which is account lockout analyzer. Now this account lockout analyzer, I mean, you might have come across the situation. A specific account gets logged out once in every 30 minutes, and you have no idea from where the lockout is getting initiated. If that's going to be the kind of situation that you are facing right now or you have faced, you can very well make use of the account lockout analyzer report and then get the information that you're looking for. Okay, so let me quickly show you where to go and search for the report. So you go to user management within the application, and then you go to account lockout analyzer. All right. Now, let me tell you what this account lockout analyzer report does. I think it's taking long for this report to get generated. All right, here we go. We have it right here. So if I just have a look, this is going to give me the name of the account that is logged out and the source machine, and it does give me something much more interesting, which is analyzer details. So if I just go to analyzer details, now this analyzer is going to read information from 5 different components or inspect 5 different components to see whether the logged out account is configured in any of these. So I see that there is an active logon session in this specific PC, and I also see an account there, a few other accounts there. So I need to make sure that I go to this specific PC and update my credentials there, because that is causing the lockout. So I can very well make use of reports like these in order to troubleshoot any issues in hand. And talking about file auditing or file integrity, we have reports based on file servers, or if you'd like to track the activity of a specific user or a set of users, we have user-based reports, share-based reports as well. So when I talk about reports, any files created, modified, deleted, or even copy and pasted, or even failed attempt to read or delete a business critical file. I mean a file that has business critical information. So if someone is trying to modify something here, which they're not supposed to do, you get notifications, because we are talking about alerts. So if I just go to show all alerts, all right, we have close to 200 alerts that you can just go ahead and use them out of the box. You are also free to create your own alert profile. Let's say you have a very sensitive top level group, and anytime when it changes group membership, or you have a confidential folder, you don't want anyone except the administrators accessing the top level folder, you can very well go ahead and create your own alert profile for those kind of customizations. So if you just have a look at the alerts right here, alerts for GPO deleted, alerts for deleted security groups, domain policy changes, schema changes, configuration changes, and a lot more. And talking about archiving, we are just ending we have come to the end of the presentation here, and the last topic is going to be archiving. Now, talking about archiving, this application can archive events based on your requirement. So if you feel that there are a lot of events pertaining to file audit, getting generated in the logs, you can just go ahead and archive the logs for every 5 days. And if you feel that the account creation logs, the category of account creation is not generating that too many logs, you can maybe archive the logs pertaining to the category once in every 25 days. And where do you archive the logs? You just specify the location. This can be a local path or even a network path. You just specify the location and the logs get archived there. And when an auditor steps into your organization and then asks for logs, you just go to restore archived logs. All the archived logs will be right here. You just load them back to the application and then get the information with just few mouse clicks. And if you are looking for reports pertaining to compliance, do not worry, we have it ready for you. So talk about any compliance, you just go to the compliance category, We have reports for SOX, HIPAA, PCI, GLBA, and even FISMA. You just go ahead and generate the reports and then submit it to your auditors. The same holds good for Event Log Analyzer as well. We have a separate tab here, Compliance. You have reports for FISMA, PCI, HIPAA, SOX, GPG, GLBA, and also a few other regulatory standards. You just go ahead and generate the report and give it to your auditors so that you get the work done with just few mouse clicks. And this solution, I mean this SIEM solution from ManageEngine is also in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for SIEM for the year 2016. So I would recommend you to just go ahead and try the application. If you already have the application in place, please do use the application to its maximum capability. And if you have any doubts and if you'd like to know more about any specific feature, or you'd like to know best practices in SIEM or anything related to SIEM, the email address that you have to shoot an email to is going to be log360-support@manageengine.com. Or you can simply reply to the feedback mailer that's going to be sent to you in a short while, and we'd be more than happy to answer your queries, be it technical or be it related to commercials. Once again, thank you very much for setting some time apart amidst your busy schedule and joining this session. You all have a nice evening. Thank you.